Rugal Bernstein stands out as the original main antagonist of the KOF series, cementing his place as one of SNK's most iconic bosses. However, beneath his formidable facade lies a tantalizing secret that often goes unexplored. What if I told you that there might be multiple Rugals? The notion of there being more than one Rugal Bernstein isn't just a speculative what-if scenario. It's a popular fan theory supported by various hints and clues scattered throughout the games. In this video, we'll delve into the evidence behind this theory, assess its credibility, and contemplate the potential ramifications it could have on the series lore. But before that, as always, if you like this content, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you can be notified with every new video posted. The first clue that hints at the possibility of there being more than one Rugal lies within unofficial artwork from the PlayStation 1 version of KOF 98. Unlike the wacky and whimsical artworks typical of the game's gallery mode, this particular piece stands out for its seriousness and intrigue. Depicted within an experimental tube, Rugal appears with multiple wires connected to him, his complexion darkened and his hair stark white. These distinct features strongly suggest that this version of Rugal is none other than Omega Rugal, a form previously believed to be accessible only through the activation of the Orochi powers. What's particularly striking is the absence of Rugal's bionic arm in this portrayal. Both of his arms appear to be organic, flesh and blood. This detail is especially perplexing given that Rugal had lost his arm in a dramatic explosion during the events of KOF 94, making this deviation from his usual appearance a notable anomaly. Additionally, this artwork features a mysterious figure with long dark hair and a striking red trench coat, accompanied by what appears to be his assistant. Curiously, this enigmatic man has never been seen in any game within the King of Fighters series, prompting questions about his identity and his connection to Rugal. He also looks like Vincent from Final Fantasy VII. I can't be the only one who thinks that. Who exactly is this individual anyway? And what role does he play in Rugal's story? While the female assistant initially bears a passing resemblance to Shizuru, it's unlikely that she is the Yata heiress, as Shizuru has no known association with Rugal. However, a closer look at her attire provides a significant clue. She is dressed identically to Rugal's secretaries. No, not Vice Adventure, Rugal's other secretaries that could be seen in his win pose and in this artwork. This suggests that the woman in the artwork also serves as one of Rugal's assistants or secretaries. Consequently, it's reasonable to infer that the mysterious man may also be Rugal's employee. Now let's address the elephant in the room. The presence of multiple other tubes containing silhouettes resembling Rugal cannot be overlooked. These figures shared his distinctive grey skin and white hair. This confirms one thing: the successful creation of clones by Rugal's assistants. This revelation hints at Rugal's syndicate having acquired advanced cloning technology prior to Nests, which is the main antagonist of the next arc. It's plausible that Rugal himself initiated the cloning process before his demise in KOF 95. His ominous last words in that game, promising his return, take on a new significance in light of these developments. While initially dismissed as the ramblings of a delusional megalomaniac, in retrospect, they align more closely with the idea of his eventual return as a clone rather than his original form. This raises a significant question. If Rugal's clones existed all this time, why didn't any of them emerge until KOF 15? Well, they did actually. Rugal did make appearances between KOF 95 and 15. Notably in 98 and 2002. Yes, I know, these games aren't considered canon to the series lore, but they still offer insights into the broader narrative, as seen with characters like Nameless. Originally intended to have stories, these games were ultimately rendered non-canon by developers, leaving Rugal's return unexplained. I assume that the decision to keep these entries non-canon was to preserve the cloning plot for the Nest saga. Introducing Rugal as a clone in KOF 98 would have potentially undermined the significance of the cloning storyline in subsequent games. It would have made all the clone stories in the Nest saga redundant. That being said, despite the non-canonical status of Rugal's appearances in KOF 98 and 2002, subtle clues hinting at his clone nature remain conspicuously present. Just look at these wires during his presentation, whether in cutscenes or intros. It undoubtedly evokes imagery reminiscent of someone that had just emerged from one of the tubes seen in the aforementioned artwork. This observation lends credence to the theory of Rugal's cloning, suggesting a process akin to awakening from stasis. And you know what? That would also explain why he has different moves and techniques in each game. The evolution of Rugal's moveless across these games provides additional evidence. Take the Genocide Cutter for example, which progresses from a single hit in earlier iterations to incorporating 3 strikes in 98 and culminating in a 4th hit in KOF 2002 that renders it difficult to punish. This progression implies a continuous refinement of Rugal's abilities by his assistants, each iteration learning from past weaknesses and incorporating improvements. For once, the change in gameplay and the alternative move list may have explanation lore-wise. Thus, while Rugal's presence between KOF 95 and 15 may lack canonical status, remnants of lore and backstory persist within 98 and 02, serving as intriguing glimpses into the overarching narrative of Rugal's enigmatic existence. This brings us to his appearance in KOF 15. So, what version of Rugal are we dealing with here? Is it the original Rugal who died at the end of 98, whom Sul was trapped within Verse and then released after the monster's destruction? Or is it yet another clone? Well, the answer is yes. No, seriously, I mean it. It might be both. Remember, there are 2 versions of Rugal in KOF 15. The playable one and the broken over-the-top version reserved for the boss challenge mode. So why did we just assume that it's one character with 2 different versions, separated solely for gameplay and balance purposes? Why couldn't they be 2 distinct characters? As for who's who, which one is the real Rugal and which one is the clone, I'm going to assume that the regular playable version is the real Rugal. It would make more sense that the clone is the more powerful one. Rugal's assistants are always working on improving these clones iteration after iteration, and their latest creation, the Rugal from the boss challenge mode in KOF 15, is the culmination of their efforts, and is by far the most powerful to date. The existence of multiple Rugals introduces a captivating exploration of identity and agency within the series. With these Rugals, be aware of each other's existence. Do they share memories or experiences? The potential for canonical mirror matches add an intriguing dimension to the narrative. Moreover, the concept of clones grappling with their individuality and purpose enriches the story, delving into themes such as free will, morality, and existentialism. Additionally, the revelation of multiple Rugals would undeniably impact the heroes of KOF. How would Hydern respond to the presence of multiple copies of his arch-nemesis? Would he prioritize their destruction or focus solely on identifying the original? Rugal's children, Adelheid and Rose, would face similarly profound upheaval, transitioning from having no father to suddenly having multiple parental figures. Furthermore, the return of Gennett, who once took a knife from Rugal, adds another layer of complexity. Should he be wary of his former adversary has returned, potentially backed by multiple versions of himself? Another crucial aspect to consider is the enigmatic assistance of Rugal, the masterminds behind the creation of these clones who have operated in the shadows. What exactly is their ultimate objective? Are they loyal followers of Rugal, or do they harbor their own mysterious agenda? Perhaps the most pressing inquiry arises when contemplating the reaction of the real Rugal resurrected after Versus' destruction to the revelation that he may not be a singular entity. How would he respond to the existence of these clones? Would he perceive them as a threat and seek to eliminate them? Or might he forge an alliance with them? Furthermore, how can he be certain that one or more of these clones won't betray him, potentially claiming to be the original? In essence, the theory of multiple Rugals serves as a narrative treasure trove for the King of Fighters series. It offers an abundance of storytelling opportunities, from exploring identity and agency to delving into moral and philosophical dilemmas. The inclusion of potential canonical mirror matches and the impact on beloved characters promise to captivate fans and breathe new life into the franchise's lore. Or we could focus again on Shun'ei and the backstory of his headphones. That's also an option. Special thanks to my patrons for their support. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.